Today's address by Pope Francis touched on many issues relevant to the U.S., but many topics remain contentious on both sides of the aisle. News 8's Eric Jacobson joins us now with local reaction.
Lisa, despite the large crowds gathered to see the Pope, many of the issues he raised during his visit to Washington remain controversial, and politicians are debating whether all this talk will lead to action.
You are the face of its people.
Ranging from immigration to climate change, Pope Francis touched on many hot-button topics in his address to Congress this morning.
We must not be taken aback by the numbers, but rather view them as persons.
For Representative Ron Kind, it was a speech Washington needed to hear.
He's willing to have tough conversations with anyone and try to find where there's some common ground. And quite frankly, that's a lesson that Washington and I think elected representatives need to hear throughout our country.
But despite thousands greeting him during his visit to the nation's capital, many politicians remain divided on these issues. It's a trend not surprising to UWL political science professor Joe Hein.
Republicans and Democrats in Congress are pretty well established on what their position is on this stuff. It might be a few people, but vast majority, I think, pretty well know where they stand on the major issues.
While Congress remains divided, for the public undecided on these issues, his influence may be a factor.
If you're a little more undecided on global warming or abortion or gay rights or the immigration issue, for example, is very controversial right now. You might be persuaded by his moral arguments.
And regardless of his big reception, it was a speech that didn't exclude anyone.
He's an equal opportunity critic, and he reminded all of us of some of our shortcomings.
Regardless of whether his speech brings action, Hein says it brings a fresh perspective to American politics.
His common theme is we're all on one planet, and he's sort of saying that these things are good for the planet, good for the people as a whole.
Hein says the Pope's ability to speak on controversial issues stems from his moral position in world politics. Because his lack of a political office, he's more freely able to speak on a wide variety of topics.
Thank you, Eric. Pope Francis continues his tour of the United States through the weekend with stops in New York and Philadelphia.